your worldview is indistinguishable from the KKK. That you want to organize the world based on skin color. We want to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard you work, what you bring to the table. I believe it's destructive and wrong to say that people are going to be organized or have their future set based on the color of their skin. I think it's tribalistic. I think it is divisive, and I think it hurts the excellence of a country. You asked a question, well, how are we going to help other communities? You know how you help other communities? Stop pandering to them and start treating them like individuals made in the image of God, not tribes to be organized for political purposes.
You know, if you're listening on the audio podcast, you might think, well, Dave, why did you cold open just with Charlie Kirk talking one of those college kids? What was the point of that? With no other context, except for those of you that watch the video program we put out there every day. Yes, my friend Charlie Kirk has made his official debut as Cartman in South Park. Apparently that episode came out this week, and art is imitating life, or life is imitating art, or it's a little of both, or something, or half of one and a dozen of the other. Hello, I'm Dave Rubin. This is the Rubin Report. It is July 30th, 2025. That's right. Tomorrow is our last day of the season, and then I disappear for August. Very excited. We have a very special live stream for you tomorrow day, including, I'm already ready for the night. You see what's happening there? I'm gone already, but I'm still going to do what I can today for you. Including introducing you to AI Dave, who will be at least partly hosting the Rubin Report program in August. And we've got all sorts of special surprises coming up in August. We're going to drop our documentary about my trip to Hungary, my trip to Israel, my adventure with stem cells, going from literally 15 tears in my knee to a month and a half after the stem cell injection, playing 5-on-5 basketball again, and a whole bunch more. We got plenty of interviews, Eckhart Tolle, Sage Steele, Clay Travis, blah, 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 blah. And I'm very excited to say, Connor, put the image up. Look at this. We asked and you guys delivered. We wanted to crush it on the show yesterday, but our goal, we announced about 3-4 months ago, was to hit the 3 million YouTube subscribers by the time I went off the grid. And that is the live number right now, 3 million, over 3 million at this point. And we're just very appreciative of that. We're also crushing it on Rumble, and a lot of good things are happening. So let's just dive into the show today. We're going to start with what could have been an unbelievably horrific tragedy that actually now probably is only at least a mini tragedy to some extent. This tsunami that happened after an earthquake off the shore of Russia, and we will connect it, of course, to Oprah and the leftists who pretend to be nice, but when push comes to shove, they usually aren't, including possibly killing people. Here's Sean Hannity, who was live on air when this 8.7 magnitude earthquake hit near Russia.
All right, this is a Fox News alert. A massive 8.7 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Russia has now issued tsunami advisories and watches, including Japan, Hawaii, the entire west coast of the U.S. This could be one of the top 10 earthquakes ever recorded.
The waves that are pushing in towards Russia. For Japan, they're expecting 9-foot waves to impact the islands. As we look at the Aleutian Islands there, south of Alaska and the peninsula, tsunami warnings for the western edge of that because of the proximity to the earthquake. We get down into Hawaii. They are also in a tsunami warning. This has been a confirmed wave that is moving in, likely to make impact just after 7:15 local time. The Oahu Emergency Management said, this is what you got to do. You got to get to at least a 10-story building and get to 4 floors or above that. So people are seeking higher ground right now. You look at the west coast of the lower 48, everyone is under a tsunami watch right now. For the Pacific Northwest, Washington and Oregon, arrival time 11:40 p.m. local time for that initial wave. Down towards Northern California, San Francisco, and those areas around the Bay, about 12:30, midnight, that's when you're looking at that potential wave. And then Southern California right after 1 a.m. So when we're looking at this, it is expecting flooding along those coastal areas. You got to gain elevation.
Okay, so fortunately, as I said, what could have been a major tragedy, at least from an American perspective, turned out to be virtually no tragedy at all. A tsunami never hit. There were about 6-foot waves ultimately that hit Hawaii, as Connor, a former Hawaiian, just said to me. You know, it's funny. You lived in Seattle. I rescued you from there, but you could still be living in Hawaii right now. Well, this is still pretty good here in Florida. But in any event, pretty good surfing weather, and everything's basically okay. But obviously, in those hours, it hit at about, I think it was around 9 p.m., if I'm not mistaken, Eastern. But in those hours where you're just waiting, basically, like, holy cow, is a massive tsunami going to hit Hawaii? Is it going to hit Japan? Is it going to hit the west coast of the United States? Obviously, people start freaking out. So quickly, we'll show you, and then you'll see where we're going with all of this. We're going to show you some traffic gridlock in Oahu, Hawaii. Okay, so obviously people in those hours, then they're used to this, and you can hear the siren in the background. They're used to going to evacuation zones, and they want to get further away from the coast, et cetera, et cetera. And now here's where the story gets kind of interesting and what caught the internet last night into today, which is that Oprah has one of the most expensive houses on all of the islands and apparently has a road. I mean, this is wild. She actually has a road that basically intersects, I hate the word intersectionality, but it intersects the island. We'll show you a map in just a second. But people basically wanted to take a shorter route. They either were going to have to take the main road and basically go all the way around the island to get to a safer area, or they could have taken Oprah's road, which basically runs right through the island, except her road was not open to the public, and they did not seem to want to open it. Here is a man in his car trying to get through Oprah's road.
Look at this. I think they're trying to open Oprah's road. Come on, Oprah. Save us. Road to all the way up country, bro. All the way up country. She got it all to herself. And everybody trying to get in. Cops trying to open it. Nope. Still closed. Man. She got her own road from Wailea all the way up country, which is the safe zone. And she won't even save us. Now, I don't know that, but road's still closed. People are still passing it. And we're...
Okay, so it's a little unclear as to whether Oprah knew about this or not. It's also interesting, you know, if you were sitting in a coastal area in Hawaii, so you're this guy, let's say, and you're in your car and you think a tsunami's coming, and I get it, there's cops there. But at the end of the day, you got to save your life. And I don't know why you wouldn't just plow through the barrier. Like at the end of the day, I don't know why the cops wouldn't do it too. I don't know why you'd be waiting to call somebody. I'm not a big fan of eminent domain, but like if there was ever a reason to open up a private road, I think it would be to save people. Anyway, let's show you a map here that sort of explains what I was talking about. So you can see everyone on the coast over there, they want to get to high ground. The main road is the red one that you're looking there. So think about it. If you're down south there, right, you're going to have to drive all the way up and all the way around. Oprah's road literally goes right across. Anyway, we have a little bit more of an update on this. This is from Nick Sorter on the X. Oprah's road before X versus Oprah's road after X, meaning people started tweeting about it. That video that we just showed you right there started going viral, a whole bunch more. We the people forced Oprah to open the road, allowing folks to escape the incoming Hawaii tsunami and get to higher ground. Well done holding the elites accountable. Now, we should note a couple things here. First off, Oprah did open that very road in previous crises. You know, there was the fire in 2019 and 2023. She opened the road both times. And just for a little context, because who knows? We don't know where Oprah, at this moment, we don't know where Oprah was. We don't know if it had anything to do with her opening up or not. I'm talking about this just because of the way the internet works. It was like you could see all these people like, oh, there's the rich elitist Oprah, who, by the way, I have no real love for Oprah. I have nothing really against her, but you know, she's kind of in that Clooney Hollywood lefty thing, right? She's always in a forest eating bread, losing weight somehow, and then she gains it back when she leaves the forest. That's a funny idea for a German fairy tale. But a quick note here, people started evacuating at 2:43 p.m. local time. Her road was opened at 7:16, so about 4.5 hours later. So there is some questions as to whether, you know, should a single individual have that much power over an evacuation route? What happened in those 4 hours and everything? But you can see why we're covering the story. First off, thankfully, nothing truly tragic happened as far as we know. But the way the internet then jumps in on things, and maybe Nick Sorter is right, like it might be possible that had the internet not shamed Oprah, again, whether she knew about it or not, that the road wouldn't have been open. I would leave it to the Hawaiian authorities to decide whether they think that that's a great idea that one person can control that much land when it comes to evacuation routes. But let's connect this to the larger thing about the Democrats these days, which is an endless hysteria, right? They're sort of nice on the outside, and then underneath that very thin veneer is something sort of hysterical and crazy. So we have a long list of people we could show crying or over-emoting or whatever. Let's start with New Jersey's Cory Booker, a man who once did not urinate for 25 hours, and he's never gonna stop talking about it. Here he is yesterday, giving a speech that's mostly a crazed diatribe about Donald Trump, completely disconnected to reality, but he's very emotional about it, and thus I think a certain set of people think anything he said here is true.
The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. I see law firms bending a knee to this president, not caring about the larger principles, that those free speech rights, that you could take on any client, why are you bending the knee? I see universities that should be bastions of free speech bending at the knee to this president. I see businesses taking late-night talk show hosts off the air because they dare to insult a president. I see people who want mergers suddenly think that they have to pay tribute to this president. And what are the very people here elected to defend the Constitution of the United States saying, oh, well, today, let's look the other way and pass some resources that won't go to Connecticut, that won't go to Illinois, that won't go to New York, that will go to the states he likes. That is complicity with an authoritarian leader who is trashing our Constitution. It's time for Democrats to have a backbone. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to draw lines. And when it comes to the safety of my state being denied these grants, that's why I'm standing here. If we don't stand as Democrats, we deserve to lose.
All right, Spartacus, I'm not going to over-emote like you're doing there. I'm very impressed with your ability to do that, just like not peeing for 25 hours. That I could not do. I really could not do it. I just can't. 49, it is what it is. Let's just clean up some of that. First off, when it comes to trampling all over the Constitution, all that, both sides are guilty of this, but do you guys have any recollection of COVID and locking people in their house and not letting people to assemble together publicly and, the government working with big tech companies to silence people? Anything on that? I don't know, maybe forcing people to inject their kids with some shit. Does any of that, you have any recollection of any of that? And again, I'll blame that on everybody, not just you. Then everything he said related to free speech is complete nonsense. What law firms are suddenly not defending free speech because they're afraid of Trump? I haven't heard of one. All of the stuff happening at the universities, the fines that Columbia and Harvard, et cetera, are paying, are not because of free speech. They are because of behavior. When you take over a campus and you do not let students on the university grounds, when you literally lock janitors into buildings, when you violate other students' first right amendments, et cetera, et cetera. It's nothing to do with speech. You want to run around, say all the horrible things about Israel, you want to lie and do whatever, go ahead. It's college. Nobody expects much from you people. So everything, of course, that he said there, but he emotes a lot. And my feeling is that's not a man who can get a boner. And Cory Booker, this ad's for you.
Guys, it's time to strut into the bedroom like your junk just got a VIP invite to the party. Blue Chew's chewable tablets are a motivational coach for your man parts, giving you harder, stronger, longer-lasting edge like your downstairs just chugged a protein shake and hit the weights. When you pop a Blue Chew tablet, your confidence will be so high that your shadow will call you Big Papa. It's not just sex. It's like your pelvis is auditioning for an action movie called The Boner Identity. Guys, this just isn't about performance. It's cementing your third legacy. Emphasis on leg. Who wrote this? Head on over to BlueChew.com to check out your options and level up your game. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew absolutely free. Just use promo code Rubin at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head on over to BlueChew.com for details and safety info. And big thanks to Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
From a man who can't get a boner to a man who looks like a flaccid penis, here's Chuck Schumer.
Because these guys are undoing everything in every way they can. They don't want poor people to vote. They don't want people of color to vote. They don't want Democrats to vote. They don't believe in democracy. We do.
Oh, stop threatening me with a good time. I mean, do you realize how stupid this is? Like, this is all they've got left. Congratulations, Chuck. Right, I'm Chuck Schumer. I wear my glasses like this, and they're scared. It's like, come on, man. They don't want black people to vote. Actually, the problem that you're having is black people are waking up to the policies of the Democrats. They are waking up to the perpetual cycle of poverty that you have kept much of the black community in. They are waking up to the fact that identity politics is actually, I would say, radically against people of color, your phrase, right? And what is it? They don't want poor people to vote. They don't want poor people to vote. It's just so stupid. And you, of course, you conflate poor people and black people always. And they don't want Democrats to vote. I mean, frankly, I don't want Democrats to vote, but so I'll grant him that one. But everything that they do is basically taking place in a fantasy land of their mind. It's not what's happening in reality. What have we been doing on this show every day since Trump has become president? I am laying out good, positive things that are happening constantly, and they are everywhere, whether it's the border, whether it's the economy, whether it's the trade deal, whether it's what's happening in the Middle East, like it's absolutely everywhere. But because they exist in their little fantastic voyage mind where Donald Trump is the sun and the moon, they have to make up stories to validate their ridiculousness. Here's Amy Klobuchar with a completely fabricated story.
I was up in Grand Marais, Minnesota, and saw someone walk out of a grocery store, just happened to be walking in, saw her look at her receipt, she was looking down, and she's just, no. That's how people are feeling. They're looking down at those going, no, I can't afford.
That just obviously didn't happen, right? You know, you're buying something, you look at your receipt when you get it. You don't walk out of the store suddenly look at, no, unless it could have been. No. I feel like I could have set that one up better. I kind of dropped the ball on that one. We'll bring that one back. Anyway, here is a man who had sex with a Chinese spy, who also farted live on MSNBC and apparently doesn't have much to do at work because he's doing this.
I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol. I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home because they would rather stand up for Donald Trump than release the Epstein files and stand up for victims. We could be at Washington, D.C., lowering your healthcare costs, lowering your grocery costs, and restoring your rights. I should be working right now. Instead, I'm pumping iron at the gym.
All right, you low-T pussy. First off, he's pumping 135 pounds right there. Like, come on, that is nothing. What do you tell me you're pumping these days? We got Phoenix over here pumping 170, and he weighs $125, okay? So you got nothing over there, Swalwell. That's one thing. Number two, so he sent you home so you can't do work? What the high hell are you talking about? And why didn't you want to release the Epstein files when it was your guy who was president? I mean, it's just nothing. But this is, it's so interesting. How is it for the last 10 years, the most authentic person in public life, not just in politics, in public life, is the billionaire with hair plugs who is orange? How did that happen? But who is more authentic, Eric Swalwell or Donald Trump? Elizabeth Warren or Donald Trump? Kamala, Donald Trump? Joe Biden? We could do all of them, right? The woman with the penis who was running the health thing, or Donald Trump? Like, all of it. They are just absolutely terrible. They are pussies. They are limp-wristed buffoons. And Republicans, although are often not great, are just a bit better. I think we played this for you once, but Clay Travis makes a great point right here.
Yeah. Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong. And second part of this, basically summing it up, Democrats for men are pussies, and Republicans
Democrats for men
are pussies. There are no masculine men in the Democrat Party right now.
I mean, that's just true. Like, we can do the entire thing about policy, right? We can talk about taxes, or we could talk about abortion, or we can talk about foreign policy, whatever you want to do, border, blah, blah, blah. But there is also something else happening here. Show me a male Democrat who really comes off like a man. And by the way, that has nothing to do with sexuality or anything else. What that has to do with, like, these people, why are they all always crying? Why are they all always emoting? Why are they all hysterical? Why can't they say basic truths? There is something wrong with these people. And I think when you really understand that psychological condition, you also understand why they want the government to be their master. And if they only had the power of the government, right, if they could just attain that control, then they could control the universe. But these are people who can't even clean up their room. Here's Gavin Newsom, who is likely the Democrat nominee for president in 2028, who is an evil, reptile-like snake person sent from another planet to put on a human skin to ruin California, then America, then the entire world. Here he is laying out his plan.
Exhausting. I'm sick of it, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that anymore. I'm sick and tired of being on our heels. Got to be on our toes. It's not about, fighting back. It's about leaning forward, and it's about setting the tone and tenor. I'm sick of this party needs to wake up. These guys aren't screwing around. And I say this not in literal sense, but they're assassins when it comes to the way they weaponize grievance and the way they play politics. Yeah. Enough. I mean, what more goddamn evidence do we need? Excuse my language. I mean, they've rolled back the last half century. In real time, that's just 6 months. Right. Can you imagine this guy having an additional 42 months with no system of checks and balances, no oversight? I mean, seriously, the hell else more evidence do you need? This is an existential moment.
It's existential, Gav. That's number one. Number two, I mean, everything. You can see he's trying so hard with his choice language and assassins, not literal assassins. And what the hell? Like, you can see he wants to be a man, but he's not. He's just a fucking evil lizard, pussy-ass bitch. I'm going off the grid. You know what I mean? I got to get this shit out. I can't bring this with me when I'm laying at the beach. Yes. We are the ones who weaponize grievances. You guys who weaponize sexuality. You guys who weaponize gender. You guys who have weaponized every little piece of us that has nothing to do with the sum totality of us. That is the literal driving force of your party, but we're the ones that did that. It is absolutely awful, but there is, ladies and gentlemen, a psychological connection to all of this, as I just laid out. It's not just that there's the reason, like some disconnected reason that these people all become Democrats. There's something deeply psychological happening that leads them on this endless quest for authoritarianism, and it has something to do with narcissism, but don't take my word for it. Here's Jordan Peterson.
Other predictors have emerged looking at the similar construct, left-wing authoritarianism. The best predictor I've seen is malignant narcissism. Yeah. The correlation is 0.6. 0.6, right, which is about as good as the measurement accuracy of the questionnaires. Yeah. Right, so it actually opens up the question. The question is, there may be no difference between left-wing authoritarianism and malignant narcissism. And what that means is the serpents are using the language of compassion to mask their power striving.
He's just as good as he's ever been. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? The serpents, the narcissists, right? The people who think everything is about them. Think of the TikTok generation. Everything is about them. What was Jordan's original thing? Clean your room before you clean the world, right? But these people who think it's all about them, the endless navel gazing, and if they only had the power cloaked in, we care about you, and we care about you, and we care about you, and we care about you. But when they get the power, what happens? Well, then they're going to have to kill an awful lot of people, because what starts happening is a couple people are like, I'm not so into this. And then you got to kill people, which is why communism and Marxism has killed hundreds of millions of people every time it has been tried. And is there any better example of that than the clip we just showed you before that, Gavin Newsom? He is obvious. I don't even know if it's malignant with him, but he is a narcissist in the most strict possible clinical sense. And what is it all guised in? It's all guised in, we care about women, and we care about gays, and we care about trans, and we care about, but all of his policies, the things that he does, the left-wing authoritarianism, what have they done in reality? I welcome you to go to San Francisco if you'd like to be injected with meth while you're trying to go to McDonald's. So you get the point. Although his winery is doing just fine up there, don't worry about Pat. We will have a bit more on the suicidal empathy of the left, but first, Bear Bar.
Have we all been duped? We're out here trying to eat healthier, grabbing protein bars that look the part, all dressed up in shiny packaging with words like natural, fuel, and clean energy. But have you ever flipped one over and read what's actually in it? It's junk, soy isolate, seed oils, sugar alcohols, and chemicals you can't even pronounce. One study even showed that a fast food burger was healthier than a leading protein bar. That's why I'm all in on Bear Bar, the protein bar that's finally delivering what we thought we were buying all along, real food with no mystery ingredients. Here's what's in a Bear Bar. Beef protein, tallow, honey, and salt. That's it. 4 ingredients, all real, all good. It packs 20 grams of clean grass-fed beef protein, and no, it doesn't taste like beef. It's light and fluffy, naturally sweet from the honey, easy on your stomach, and it actually tastes amazing. No chalky chew, no fake sweetness, just fuel that feels good. Bear Bar got it right. Finally, a protein bar without the junk. Try it for yourself. I got you 15% off. Go to getbearbars.com and use promo code Rubin. That's getBARE bars.com, promo code Rubin. You'll never go back to mystery bars again.
Okay, so you probably remember a story we covered a couple days ago. It originally took place over the weekend at a Cincinnati jazz festival where afterwards a gang of, I don't know what you want to call them, gang of thugs, drunken maniacs, hoodlums, blah, blah, blah. It happened to be apparently all black people, young guys for the most part, attacked a couple white people and basically kicked the shit out of them, potentially could have killed them. And of course the media starts running cover for it and nobody knows who did it or why they did it or anything else. Of course we know the reverse. If it had been a bunch of white people attacking a couple of random black people, this would be the most important thing. We'd be burning down Pep Boys and looting a Circuit City. Does that even exist anymore, Circuit City? I didn't want to say Best Buy anymore. Remember Circuit City? But if there's a Circuit City anymore, it would have been looted in the name of, you get it, okay? Here is Cincinnati Police Chief Terry Thietje, and she's a sexy woman, if I do say so myself. Here she is chastising the media for showing the videos of the thing that happened.
Another topic I want to cover real quick. Social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity.
Second question is, you said social media and news media distorted the content of what actually happened. What exactly was distorted? I understand that there was multiple views of the video, but exactly what led up to this? I mean, what was distorted?
Yeah, so I think by the irresponsibility with social media is it just shows one side of the equation quite frequently, without context, without factual context. And then people run with that. And then it grows legs and it becomes something bigger that we then have to try to manage as part of the investigation.
And we really shot our load before because that could use a Blue Chew ad right now. You know what I mean? I'm not being nice. I'm just getting it out of my system right now, guys. Just work with me for the next 24 hours, would you? Okay, so there's a couple things there. So first off, who the hell does she think she is to lecture us about how we use social media? It was your city lady. You're the police chief. And it doesn't matter what side? What are you talking about? What side? You mean we should be on the other side of the street to get the videos? We can't show you the videos here because we'll be demonetized or they'll delete the video or potentially we'll get a strike on YouTube. We can show you some of the images. So explain to me what's showing those images or the video. Look at that woman. Look at that woman. She's alive, right? She was not killed as far as we know. I think she is alive. But like that is a person and the man who got sucker punched and everything else. These people got attacked by a crazed mob for no reason. And that woman has the gall to get up there and lecture us about how we're using social media. I mean, again, it's like every single thing that they do at this point is a lie. It is just a lie couched in their ability to protect themselves as they destroy virtually everything. The woman is alive, fortunately. We'll try to get some more info on that. Listen to this from Eric Daughtry, because now this is where this really gets crazy. They just freed a Cincinnati Jazz Festival violence suspect for $400 bond, $400. So they sucker punched these people. They easily could have killed them, cracked the skull, God knows what. $400 bond. And then it gets worse. Here's Cincinnati Vice Mayor Kearney, and that's just people fighting, just no big deal, no big whoop.
But the conversation turns to this one incident, adults fighting at 3 a.m. This is not who we are.
Adults fighting? It wasn't adults fighting. Adults fighting would be two guys that would be like, you said that about her, and that's her, and your mama, and this, and then that would be a fight. It's not a fight when a mob just mauls people for no reason. Now, I want to connect this to more broadly what's kind of happening in the country right now. You remember, 6 months back, when that guy, Luigi Mangione, in the middle of Times Square, I think 48th and 7th, shot dead the CEO of United Healthcare, right? He had his problems with his own healthcare. He had a back problem, and he was pissed, and he killed the CEO in broad daylight. And there were many leftists that were celebrating that. And they've been celebrating violence for quite some time. And we've seen the way they take over the streets and they don't let people drive by and they chant all these things and blah, blah, blah. But they are full on allowing, it's not just allowing, they have full on embraced violence. And the problem with the left is the left never knows when the left has gone too far. So what starts as like a really weird fringe thing with the left always takes over the host, right? If you were looking at like a bunch of cells, like you'd see some like little cells dividing and you might think the host could control it, but it always eats the entire thing. And that's what's going on with the left. So this is wild. So you know about the shooting a couple days ago in New York City where a guy who apparently had some grievance with the NFL went into a building, and the NFL is housed there, and also Blackstone Investments is housed there. And he apparently got into the wrong elevator. He shot a couple people, including killing a New York City police officer. But there was a rumor going around online that he actually shot a Blackstone executive. And this compilation, I mean, this is almost hard to watch, actually. So I'll give you a little trigger warning. It's actually kind of hard to watch. This is a compilation that's been making the rounds. It's about a minute long of leftists online celebrating that a random Blackstone executive had been shot.
They're the reason why there's a housing crisis. So, hey, you know what? Let's get more against those Blackstone people. Let's take them out.
If you're having a bad day, I just wanted to hop on to let you know that the CEO of Blackstone, a private equity real estate firm, was one of the victims in the recent shooting.
It's about damn time.
And I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50.
Let's go, it's CEO season again. Let's hope it lasts till December like it did last year.
Oh my God, guys, another CEO was shot. Another one. We got another one. Is it Christmas?
Okay, so first off, the CEO of Blackstone was not shot. A female executive by the name of Wesley LePatner was shot, and she is dead. The reason I'm showing you that, and I don't know how to analyze this properly, she has 2 kids, by the way, who no longer have a mother, and those people are happy about that. They know nothing of her, know nothing of her life, her family, the good deeds she might have done, probably a good boss and colleague and friend and daughter and sister and all of those things. The reason I'm showing you that is because of what I mentioned before, that the left never knows when the left goes too far. So when you see these kids, and by the way, that if you noted, it seemed to cross genders, it probably crossed sexualities, it probably crossed socioeconomic means and all that. You know, you have the white girl just sipping her white wine. She's happy that someone died. And then you've got the other guy with the beard sipping. So it's, excited that this person died. They are celebrating the fact that someone that they do not know, they know nothing of. They know nothing of her work or anything else. Because she worked at a corporation that they don't like, they are celebrating that she is dead. This is, I am telling you, this is part and parcel of the progressive movement. This is here. They believe you are allowed to kill people, and This is why I said the other day, you know, as much as we're cleaning up the immigration stuff right now, so we're getting the illegals out, we have not only a mass mental health crisis in this country, and we have an over-medication crisis and everything else, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do when that generation, because the left has no ability to control them, right? There's no adults left there. The inmates are running the asylum. What are we going to do as the boomers die out and then the Gen Xers age out and everything else? That's a scary thought. But like, what are we going to do when these people who think that political violence is fine, who are all in on identity politics, who seem to want socialism and everything else, like, it could go away like that. Now, I think America has some great systems built in, and we're rolling into our 250th year. And my hope is that in that 250th year, next year, our anniversary, that we're going to get another resurgence of a MAGA populism around the greatness of America. But we really have to watch out for this because they don't know how to control their own children. And here's Andrew Cuomo, a man who was a failure as a governor, who then was a failure as a mayoral candidate, but he's still in the race. Here he is, wants to be mayor of New York still. Here he is talking about how the left has gone bananas, but unfortunately he has no juice. He just has no value in the party.
And something like this happens, and then it really is a reality check for all this political theory and political hype that we have going on in this country, with the extreme left postulating these theories that have no connection to reality.
Well, all right, Andrew Cuomo, I'm with you on that. And by the way, I don't think Andrew Cuomo is like an unbelievably horrible person. I think he did some terrible things with COVID. He sent all of those old people back into the homes, and he probably regrets it because when you killed all those old people, they do come out and vote, so you might have done better. But there he is saying the truth. Now, the problem is that's exactly why he lost in the primary, because the base is a bunch of radical progressive nutbags, right? They are Hamas supporting, they are socialists, and worse than socialists. So that is nice that you're going on CNN and saying something, you know, basically true. Yeah, these people are kind of bananas. But how are you going to win in New York City? How are you going to stop the Marxist from taking over? I don't think you have a plan, buddy. Actually, you've already announced that if you lose, you're going to move to Florida, which that's quite a winning message you got right there. Let me talk about Royo, which, by the way, I absolutely love this bread. Take a look.
You ever bite into one of those so-called healthy breads or bagels and wonder if you're eating recycled cardboard? Yeah, we've all done it. I mean, remember the old school food pyramid? Carbs were the heroes. These days, it's about protein, and poor bread's been put on the naughty list. So when the artisan bakers at Royo sent me the variety box of their healthy breads and bagels, I braced myself for bland, dry disappointment. But I was completely wrong. These things are amazing, soft, flavorful. And if I didn't know better, I'd think they weren't healthy at all, but they are. Royo bakes everything fresh daily with clean, minimal ingredients. We're talking low carb, high fiber, protein packed, and some even have just 2 net carbs. Perfect if you're trying to stay summer ready. I'm obsessed with their everything bagels. I throw on some butter, little everything seasoning, and that's it. I'm happy. I'm good to go. Their breads are so good, you'll forget they're healthier. And because you're listening, I got you 20% off. Go to eatroyo.com and use promo code Rubin. That's eatroyo.com, promo code Rubin.
I'm telling you guys, Royo bread, it's really great. You know, I'm doing this carnivore thing, and I basically don't eat carbs, but they're just light and fluffy, and you feel good after you're getting some fiber, high in protein. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, so we've talked enough about the crazy people. Let's talk about some sane people. So right down here in Florida, we have a governor by the name of Ron DeSantis. And he has decided that if you are illegal in this country and we catch you, whether it's the feds that catch you or it's our state troopers or it's our local police or anything else, we're going to send you to a place called Alligator Alley. And it is a place where there are beds and toilets. It's not so terrible, but if you try to escape from there, you might be eaten by an alligator. So you got to think about that. There's also lawyers there in a processing facility. And after a couple days, they're going to figure out what to do with you and send you home to your home country. Which the Democrats think all of that is just very terrible. It's going so well here in Florida with this program that we are now rounding up more illegals than the DHS knows what to do with. Take a look.
We're apprehending faster than DHS can hold and process. And so the results in Florida and the efforts in Florida have been so far above and beyond any other state in the country. And it's really, we're pointed to as the model for what DHS wants to see all around the United States of America. And so that was part of the reason why under my leadership with the Division of Emergency Management, we set up this processing site at the Dade Collier Airport in the Everglades to be able to have a place where illegals could go, get them processed, and then literally there's a runway and they can be flown out immediately. And it's interesting because, you hear this different stuff. The people that are going to the Alligator Alcatraz are illegally in the country. They've all already been given a final order of removal. So people talk.
Line is a choice, ladies and gentlemen. That's a line from DeSantis that I love, and it is absolutely true. So we're doing it right here. We're exceeding the federal numbers, and we're working with the feds to do everything possible. And that's not how it's going to be done in the blue states. It's just obvious. They are focused on all of the wrong things, whether it's Spartacus screaming on the House floor or whether it's Gavin Newsom overly emoting and trying to hold the reptile in from breaking through his skin. I tweeted this about that video, and I think there's a reason I'm going to read it to you. Thank God Donald Trump became president and Ron DeSantis remained governor of the free state of Florida. Obviously, I think one of the only sort of political calculations I've gotten wrong in the last however many years, I'd love in the comments, if you can think of a bunch of others, please offer them up, is that obviously I supported DeSantis in the primary. I have no regrets about that, by the way. DeSantis, although maybe he wasn't a great candidate in some sense, or people wanted it to be looser or whatever else, or Trump just knew how to do it better, and clearly Trump's moment was here. I miscalculated, but I didn't do it because he wasn't a good candidate or didn't get all the things right or anything else. And I am thrilled. When I watched that video yesterday, I thought, man, I am thrilled. I don't know that anyone's supporting Donald Trump more than me right now. I got the president I want, and I got the governor I want, and they're working together. It doesn't get better than that from a political perspective. And many other states could have that if they want it, but unfortunately, it seems that many do not. However, in Houston, Texas, ICE has been going in and they're doing some good work and getting rid of some child sex offenders. Take a look.
President Trump's immigration crackdown continues, with ICE agents in Houston, Texas, reporting more than 200 migrants apprehended by this field office alone are child sex offenders. 214 people detained by ICE in Houston over the last 6 months have either been charged with or convicted of child sex crimes. The press release from ICE says the arrest number over the past 6 months surpassed the amount of child sex offenders nabbed by the office in all of 2024.
Do you guys get how insane that is? 214 sex offenders nabbed by ICE in Houston alone. 214 in 6 months. How absolutely freaking insane is that? And you've got Democrats up there screaming that ICE should be abolished or should have to take their masks off or defunded or whatever it might be. Why is it that they don't care about the 214 kids? And it's probably more than that because many of these guys probably took advantage of plenty of other kids. But let's say at least 214 kids who were molested or whatever by illegal immigrants. They don't care about that. And there's other benefits. When you start cleaning up the cities, when you start cleaning up your states, your roads, your infrastructure and everything else, when you start getting people who shouldn't be here off the roads, well, then all sorts of other things happen. I thought this was interesting. From Zero Hedge, from Financial News, auto accidents fall 10% in major cities amid reports of lighter traffic. A few weeks ago, reports began circulating, thanks to ICE, roundups in major cities. The notorious parking lot traffic in Los Angeles was suddenly cleared out, allowing people to jet around the city like the old days. And yes, it is true there are less cars on the road because illegals now are, and there are an untold amount of them, are a little leery, particularly double criminals, because they're all criminals in some sense. But double criminals are very leery of just driving around because you might get picked up in a place like Los Angeles, not because of the LAPD, because they're working against ICE, but because Trump actually sent the feds in there. You may remember this video. This is from about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago maybe. A guy driving down LA's 110. I mean, this is one of the most trafficked, believe me, I lived there, one of the most trafficked roads in the country. Rush hour, you do not want to be on this thing. Look at this at 8 a.m.
I don't know if anybody's familiar with Los Angeles, but I'm actually on the 110, literally about 5 miles from downtown. Where the f are the cars? I almost felt like it was a Sunday. Where the hell Holy, look at.
You know, we once, Connor and was it Phoenix you were with me? Connor and Phoenix were with me. It was the first day they met. Connor had just taken the job, and we were going, actually, to Sheila Kuhl's house, right? So Sheila Kuhl was the woman, the evil, evil wench of a woman who worked at, she was the LA, can you find out what she was? She was like a county supervisor or something. But she was the deciding vote in the 3-2 vote to close the outdoor restaurants during COVID. And she voted to close the outdoor restaurants. And then after the vote, I mean, this is so psychotic. After the vote, she literally, it wasn't going to kick in, the vote, like for another 24 hours. So then she went out to eat in Santa Monica, I think, at her favorite Italian restaurant. So she votes to close restaurants because COVID's going to kill us all. And then she literally went to an Italian restaurant outdoor in Santa Monica. We were driving. I took the guys. I had just got my Tesla, and we were in the Tesla. And we're driving down there, and I got clipped by what was obviously an illegal immigrant. Like it was, you could see the way the truck was. The guy didn't speak a word of English or anything else. And we got into it on the side. Anyway, it all worked out. But she was the LA Board of Supervisors chairperson or something from 2014 to 2022. Anyway, we ended up going to her house for a protest. And that is where, for the first time, I signed the recall election thing. You know, we had to, they needed several 100,000 signatures to recall Gavin Newsom. I signed it right there. And then, as you know, I ended up campaigning with Larry Elder to get rid of that freak. It didn't work out. I live in Florida. Okay, what are you going to do? Here's the White House where they're having a little fun with some of these ICE deportations.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. Book now with Jet2 Holiday.
I mean, that's funny, guys. That's the official White House account. And it's like, again, it doesn't matter what your feelings exactly are on deportations or anything else. And we can all have those conversations about the people who've lived here for a long time, who haven't broken other laws or who are not dealing drugs or, I don't know, molesting kids. But sorry, we're doing something about the problem that you all created. And this is exactly what Donald Trump was elected for. So even if on the margins there was some version of this that I wasn't thrilled with, it's like, this is what he was elected for. So suck it, bitch. Here's Chef IQ.
You ever get stuck constantly checking the temperature of your steak, nervously poking, flipping, and praying it's not undercooked? Yeah, those days are gone. I got a Chef IQ Sense, and now I'm basically ready for the Food Network. Chef IQ Sense is this brilliantly simple, incredibly smart cooking sensor that you can stick right into whatever you're making, steaks, chicken, fish, you name it. It's like a meat thermometer, but wireless and way smarter. Here's how it works. I just enter what I'm cooking into the Chef IQ Sense app, pick exactly how I want it. Well done, medium, medium rare, rare, and boom, that's it. Chef IQ Sense does the rest. It continuously monitors and predicts precisely when your food is ready. No more cracking open the oven, sweating over the grill, or hovering over a frying pan. You're free to kick back, relax, visit with guests, or enjoy your drink while the dinner takes care of itself. And get this, once your food hits perfection, Chef IQ Sense sends an alert straight to your phone. No guessing, no stress, no drama, just perfectly cooked food every time. It's the world's smartest, easiest to use wireless cooking sensor. And the best part, they just launched a flash sale. Right now, during their flash sale, you can get 15% off. So jump on this. Summer grilling season is here, and Chef IQ Sense will make you a grill master. Just go to chefiq.com, use promo code Rubin. That's chefiq.com, promo code Rubin.
You may have noted there in that promo that you were seeing me cook a Wagyu tomahawk steak. If you have not seen that video and if you want to make the perfect Wagyu tomahawk, I smoked it. It's not necessary to smoke because it's already going to be pretty freaking tender, a Wagyu tomahawk, but that video is up on our channel. You can find that. Let's jump over to some other good things that are happening right now. We've talking this week about the EU trade deal that came in, and Trump basically rolled over the entire EU. We basically got everything we want, and in some sense, the Europeans are kind of like, thank you, sir. Can I have another? Because they desperately need us. They need our economy. They need our military. They need our technology. And they need our leadership in the world. Here's Kevin O'Leary, one of my favorites, talking about how the Germans and the French, they're kind of pissed now because they're going to get the short end of the stick. But you know what? They're going to do it, suck it up. And as I just said, say, thank you, sir. May I have another?
Already the French and the German are whining this morning about this deal, or this potential deal. But the only reason they care is pharmaceuticals and automotive. We are so huge to them in those sectors. So huge, so massive, so important that they have to come to the table. And, you know, this is a big deal. And so that's why you're hearing, oh, yeah, we'll invest $500 billion here and all that. They're going to move these pharmaceutical manufacturing facilities to the U.S. because this is their market. And so Trump's getting that win. But I don't think we're done yet. I mean, the EU is it's the biggest deal there is.
You're making the case that the headwinds will come from the other EU partners against this deal?
I'm saying the headwinds are in the details. You know, already they want protections against things like automotive in their direction. Oh, we don't sell many cars. Nobody's buying a Ford 150 truck in Switzerland or, you know, in France. You can't fit them on the street, let alone your driveway. So,
but isn't this the problem with the EU fundamentally? Is that a handful of people make decisions in Brussels that affect all the country?
Well, yes, you're right about that, Bill Hemmer. And I think most Europeans are realizing that they should not have signed on board the giant EU project because you basically outsource control of your country to bureaucrats in Brussels. And of course, that's what Brexit was all about. And I think most European countries, in retrospect, if they could go back and had maintained more sovereignty over their countries and particularly their borders, I mean, that is largely what led to their open border project. As you know, Hungary, which is part of the EU, they pay 1 million euros tax every single day, 365 million euros a year to keep their borders closed. That's what they have to pay in a penalty to control their own borders just to be part of the EU because they want to be part of the broader trade deal. So they don't want to not be in the EU. But that just shows you the crazed competing interests of how ridiculous the whole EU concept was in the first place. But basically what Mr. Wonderful just laid out there was, yeah, the Germans and French, there was no choice. They were going to take this deal, and the deal is really good for the US. And when we start moving some of those manufacturing plants, particularly the pharmaceutical ones, we're building plenty of cars here. But when we move pharmaceutical plants here too, because of these deals and the investment that's going to come here, it's going to be even better for us. And we're going to find out more over time as to what happens there. Listen to this. We've got more on the revenues that are coming in right now because of the tariffs. U.S. tariff revenues just broke the monthly record for July 2025 at a whopping $28 billion per Fox, the highest monthly total so far this year. This is only through July 25th. That means it's even higher. It's also more than all of June. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said he thinks we can collect $300 billion in the entire year. Okay, so I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but yes, it was about negotiations. And if you had paid any attention to how Donald Trump has operated for literally the last 40 years, you probably should have been able to see that. And the economy came back. The stock markets are at all-time highs. We're getting the deals in. We got the deal from the EU. Everything's looking pretty good. And that would lead a guy like Scott Bessent, who's running the Treasury, to say something like, yeah, everybody, how about invest in the USA? We got something cooking right now.
You've been described as a global macro veteran and you run a hedge fund. In this moment, where would you put your money if you were still running one?
United States of America.
And that's it, people. We're back. We really are back. I know there's hysterical voices out there. I know there's people who want to keep you just like completely apoplectic about little minute nonsense, but there are incredibly good things happening in this country, particularly if you live in red states. It's different. Look, if I lived in New York City right now, I would be freaking out, absolutely. And I wouldn't live in New York City, and I'd be getting out. But I get it. If you live in a place that you have all your reasons to have been there for a long time, and your family's there, and your businesses are there, and your roots are there, and your kids are in school, and they're playing sports and all of those things, I get it. I get it. But see the writing on the wall. And maybe some of those places will come back. But the question is, what will be rock bottom with a place like New York City? What's going to be rock bottom with Minneapolis when it turns into Little Somalia and all of these other things? But there'll be other bastions of freedom because our founders were pretty freaking good. And they did something called federalism. And I think there's a lot of great people in this country who want to keep it great. That is our show. I've only got one more and then I disappear till September. Postgame show, RubinReport.locals.com in 30 seconds. See ya.
I was up in Grand Marais, Minnesota, and saw someone walk out of a grocery store, just happened to be walking in, saw her look at her receipt, she was looking down, and she's just, no.